keep up my grades, there goes my scholarship. And, you know, so having to keep these two different things that either one of them can make everything fall apart for me, to keep these two things balanced the whole time, it was an incredibly stressful time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to get out of it.
And you said that you remember being very stressed and anxious throughout high school as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's worse now or worse in the past?
Yeah, well, I'd say it's worse now because I'm not... Here's the thing is, at least in high school, and I remember thinking this too, I remember being in high school and thinking that, you know, all these worries and stuff, you know, worrying about what's going to happen, about getting in trouble, about all that. I mean, there's so much time left to figure this out, you know, that I'm sure, you know, you go to college, it's a whole new world, it's all fun, you know, and this kind of stuff goes away. You know, you always think you have all this time left ahead of you, and so it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, it's something that always, as long as it always seemed like it's going to go away, I was always able to be fine with it. You know, and then in college, you know, the feelings definitely, it was a lot more intense, you know, because I'm really doing important stuff now, you know. But even then, thinking that as soon as I can just get through this, if I can just, you know, keep playing, you know, stay good on my team, if I can just, you know, keep my grades, finally just get through it, finish, get my degree, that's all over with, and then I'm free, and all this pressure's gone. And now I'm just, you know, finally an adult. I'm able to, you know, I don't have to go to school and answer and keep this GPA, any of that stuff. You know, none of that stuff matters anymore. I don't have to answer to anybody. I'll be free and then be so happy just being able to go and work in the real world, get whatever job I want, live wherever I want, you know, and who the heck would have thought that that's when it gets the worst? You know, now that I don't have anything I need to be doing, I can't make myself, you know, even take the first step, and it's killing me. I have to turn my life around. You know, I can't just sit like this.
Okay, and you mentioned that this anxiety and these worrying feelings got more intense once you got to college.
Yeah.
When you got really anxious and worried, did you ever have any shortness of breath, beating heart, sweatiness? What were your physical symptoms like?
Well, when I really start to worry about something, I guess, yeah, I tend to sweat a little bit. I know my muscles mostly everything just gets tense in my body. You know, I just feel stiff and tense, and I mean, I guess my heart starts to beat a little bit, but you know, it never gets that bad.
Okay.
No.
And how have you been coping with these anxious feelings?
You mean like now?
Mm-hmm.
There's not much I can do. I mean, if I was able to cope with it, I wouldn't really need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess it's just, you know, when I get home from work, you know, or days off, I guess I'll just, you know, probably watch some TV. You know, sometimes when I really get into a movie or something like that, it will get a little better. You know, or if I'm playing video games and I'm really focused on it, you know, it will get a little bit better. But most of the time, I mean, even those activities are still stressful to me. You know, even when I'm doing something supposedly fun, it feels like I should be doing something more productive, and yet I can't bring myself to do anything more productive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm kind of screwed. You know, where do I go from here?
Okay. So how would you say that these anxious feelings have affected your life currently?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is it's not letting me do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like, I mean, it's not like it's not letting me. I mean, it's, you know, it's me that's not doing anything. You know, but I feel so anxious about all these things during the day, just about everything that's going on. You know, and the more that I don't do anything, the more anxious I get about it. And I can't get this out of my head. You know, I can't get these anxious thoughts and feelings out of my head. You know, and I know in the back of my mind that if I just sat down, I filled out applications, you know, I went and, you know, try and get myself some interviews, in the back of my head it seems like that would snap me out of it. Mm-hmm. But I feel so behind. You know, everybody else that I, you know, the friends that I had in business classes and stuff, you know, they're already working. They went straight out of college, you know, had internships that ended up leading them into jobs, into different positions. They're already working. You know, some of them are, you know, in serious relationships. You know, they're doing stuff. I mean, I know I'm not that old, but for some reason I just feel this intense pressure that I'm not going to be able to do a single thing. I just already feel so behind, you know, and feel like everything is becoming a barrier for me to be able to move forward. Like I can't, I'm just afraid to make any steps.
Okay. On a given day, how frequently would you say that you worry?
Did I feel like anxious like this,
Mm-hmm.
you mean? I mean, most of the day.
Okay, what about in a given week?
Most of the week.
Most of the week?
I mean, most of the time. I mean, I gotta say, you know, there's few times when I don't feel like this, and that's when, you know, sometimes I really just will be engaged in something, you know, something random for a little bit. But the second that I start thinking about it again, it's back. You know, it's the same thing with my sleep. It happens the same thing when I sleep. You know the feeling when you're sleeping, and then sometimes you'll kind of get half awake for whatever reason. Either you hear a noise or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. You know that feeling? Well, when that happens to me, the second that I wake up at all, that I am conscious at all, I start getting these feelings, these anxious feelings again. You know, these worries about nothing. Before, when I'm still sleepy, I'm not even thinking actual thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is I'm worried. I don't even know about what yet.
Right.
You know, and then it takes me starting to think about, oh, okay, so this is not happening and this isn't happening. And by that time, I mean, I get so worked up, sleeping is out the door, you know, so I end up not being able to fall back asleep.
Okay,
There's
so you have
usually-
difficulty staying asleep. When you first get into bed,
Mm-hmm.
do you have difficulty falling asleep?
Usually.
Okay.
Most of the time, yeah, I'm still worried. I'm still worried for, you know, when I lay down and these thoughts start, you know, racing through my head. And sometimes, you know, if I'm really tired, which often is the case, you know, if I happen to have gotten woken up really early than the day before or something,
Right.
you know, or I had a long day of work, I'll be really tired and I'll fall asleep quicker. But usually, yeah, you know, I'll have these thoughts until my body just pretty much passes out.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're not getting a good night's sleep. How do you feel the next morning when you wake up?
Oh, I'm almost always, you know, groggy the next day, and
Okay.
you know,
As the day progresses, are you still really fatigued and tired, or do you
Yeah.
have any sort of change?
yeah, I feel restless during the day. You know, I feel restless, and it makes me, you know, it makes. I just feel like it's making me even more, you know, even more anxious and stuff, because I'm just so uncomfortable with that.